Okay, go ahead.
All right. So for the real option 2, we'll start with our decision tree. So we had it that we have a 60% chance that it will be good to expand the company. And then we'll have a 40% chance that it would be a negative thing, not a good thing. And then to move on, we said for the next that it would be 40% good if we expanded, and then 60% chance of a failure. And then we just, doing the calculations, we found that there was a 24% chance that it would be successful to do it. And then for success failure, we had 36%. And then just to fail, we had a 40% chance, equaling out to 100%. And so with those, I guess we'll go up to the first for the success. We have, so for the first, we just have all of our cash flows all the way out to the years. And then we have our acquisition of 560,000, which kind of was an assumption we made based on like the local building and land costs. And then we have, it was the, let's see, was that the revenue?
Yes, the new revenue.
We just have, yeah, the new revenue. We have that going up by 5,000 each year, just based upon the cash flows too. That's about going up about 5,000 each year. So we just had that assumption that it'd go up every 5,000 years, and then that gave us the net present value of the 260,735.
Yes, and so then with the success failure, we have our normal cash flows up here, and then the acquisition of the $560,000 of the building and the land of acquiring a new building. And then with it being a failure, you don't get as much revenues as normally you would. And so that's what this $8,000 is representing. Now this $8,000 is representing is an assumption that we made, and it would continue throughout all the years that we were to do it until we sold this new acquisition at $280,000, which would be as obviously less than the $560,000 that we used to make that acquisition. So we would be selling at a loss for that. So it would be an ultimate loss of $4,100. Let me say that again. $267,741 is what our ultimate loss would be, because that's what our net present value would be. And then for just a flat out failure, what we did is we took our 160,000 or 101,600,932 would be our ultimate acquisition cost. And then we took our regular cash flow, which would be the 70,000, and then we just multiplied it by 75%. So we'd get 75% of that if it failed for the first 3 years, and then on the 4th year it'd go down to 50%. So ultimately our net present value would also come out a loss of roughly around 200,000 is roughly where we would be with that. So that is where we're at. And ultimately, even though the probability of a success is slim, there is a good chance of it happening with the decision tree, with it being 60% in the beginning of it being good. There's more of a chance for it to get to that second stage than a flat out failure in the beginning. So ultimately, edible arrangements, we would be able to expand, and whether that expansion fails or not, there's more of a probability there than it failing flat out. So that's our presentation, and we hope you enjoyed.